Good morning, students. I'm going to start with chapter number 2, types of audit. Now, in previous chapter, we saw what is auditing. Auditing is nothing but examination of books of accounts and related documents to ascertain the authenticity of financial statements drawn from books of accounts, right? Now, this chapter, types of audit, will tell you what are the different types of audits. Okay. Now, let us start. Introduction. Now, in types of audit, we can classify audits based on various bases or grounds, like based on authority. So, who is authorized? How is authorized? That is the first criteria. Under that, we have statutory audit, non-statutory audit, and internal audit. Okay. Then, based on scope. Now, what is the meaning of scope? Can anyone tell me what is scope? Okay, I'll tell you. Scope means coverage. What you are going to cover is called as scope. So based on scope coverage, we have complete audit and partial audit. Okay. Then third basis is based on time. Okay. So under this criteria, we classify audits as continuous audit, final audit, interim audit, concurrent audit, and balance sheet audit. Okay. Then next is based on object. Okay. What is the objective? Why you are conducting? So under that, we have special audits, cost audit, management audit, and service audit. Okay. And the last type is other types. Okay. Mostly they won't be there in your syllabus. Okay. But still, I'll give you a brief overview of even these types. That is occasional audit, audit in depth, cash audit, operational audit, tax audit, and efficiency audit. Okay. So shall we start? So first type is statutory audit based on authority. Okay. Now, what is statute? Statute means law. Okay. So what is statutory? It means according to law. So audit required as per law, any law in force is called as statutory audit. Okay. So all the registered companies, okay, in India, all banking companies, all insurance companies, okay, they have their own act which regulates them. And these acts ask them to get their books of accounts audited. Okay. Therefore, these are called statutory audits. These are mandatory, compulsory. You can't skip these audits. These companies have to get their books of accounts audited. Therefore, they are called as statutory audit, audit required by statute or law. Here, I'll just read a few lines. So, it is an audit which is compulsory under law. Appointment of auditors, removal of auditors, remuneration, their rights, duties, coverage. Okay, everything is governed by law. It means in the act, everything is given. Okay. Now, examples they have given: companies registered under Companies Act 2013, banking companies covered under Banking Companies Act 1949, insurance companies covered under Insurance Act. Okay. So likewise, all the companies, most of them are covered under some or the other audit law, and those law requires you get your books of accounts audited, and this is called as statutory audit. Okay. Now, what are the essentials of a statutory audit? First, it is compulsory. You can't skip it. Heavy penalties will be charged on you if you avoid audit, if you don't conduct it within the given time limit. Clear? Who can audit? Only a chartered accountant. Okay. In case of a cost audit, cost and works accountant. Okay. We used to call it ICWA. Okay. Now it's CMA. Okay. Can conduct audit of a manufacturing company on cost books. Clear? The auditors must not incur any prescribed disqualification during the course of audit. Now, how one auditor can become disqualified? Any person who is indebted to the company, who owes to the company a sum, okay, more than 1,000 rupees, is disqualified. Any member of the company is disqualified. Okay. Any relative of the director, okay, or a person who is in employment of the company or its directors is disqualified. He cannot be appointed as an auditor. Why? Why he cannot be appointed? Because his views can be influenced by that person. Okay, he can't be giving a unbiased opinion, so they are disqualified. Okay. Next, appointment of auditor is made as per the provisions of the relevant act. This is essential. It is always a complete audit. Okay. Now this we will cover later on, because what is complete audit? This was under scope, complete and partial audit. Okay, complete audit means everything is to be audited, and partial audit means you can cut short the audit. But in case of statutory audit, it has to be a complete audit. Okay, you can't skip anything. The auditor will be responsible if anything unearths or found out later on. So it has to be a complete audit. Last point is it enables the appointing authority to get full disclosure of all material facts. Okay, so the statutory audit is a compulsory audit. All the companies under different acts have to get their books of accounts audited. Clear? So this was first under audits based on authority. Second one is non-statutory audit. As the name suggests, which is not required by law, by any act, is called as non-statutory audit. Okay, so we can say it's a voluntary audit. One can get their books of accounts audited. It's up to them, but the act is not binding them to get their books audited. Just like a sole proprietor, okay, he is not governed by any act. Okay, Income Tax Act may govern him in case his turnover exceeds 2 crore rupees. Then he has to get his books of account audited. It's called as tax audit. Okay, even if you're a sole proprietor, and if your sales turnover increases or rather surpasses 2 crore amount, then he has to get his books of accounts audited. Clear? Otherwise, it's a non-statutory audit. Sole proprietorship need not get their books of accounts audited. Okay, clear? So once again, what is non-statutory audit? It is a voluntary audit. Okay, not compulsory by any act. Clear? Now it is up to the auditor whether to get his books of accounts audited or not. Clear? Under this 2.1.2, we have 3 points. Let us see. So under non-statutory audit, first one is private audit. Okay, the audit which is done for the satisfaction of the owner is called as private audit. This type of audit is not compulsory, as we already saw. Now under that, next one is audit of sole proprietor. I told you sole proprietor is not governed by any act. Okay, only if he crosses the limit of 2 crore rupees, Income Tax Act will come into picture. Except that, the sole proprietor doesn't have to get his books of accounts audited. But we saw in previous chapter that auditing is always helpful. Okay, to do away with the errors, to get hold of fraudulent people, accounted, etc. Yeah. So audit is always suggested. Now let us see in case of sole proprietor, what can be the reasons why he wants to get his books of accounts audited, although it is not compulsory. So advantages are given. First, it becomes easy to file income tax return, isn't it? Sales tax return. Audited account helps in getting reliable information, okay, about many things, wealth tax, income tax, etc. Third, frauds and errors can be prevented, or if already committed, we can find out those. Audit ensures accuracy of accounts of the business, isn't it? If you haven't get your books accounts audited, you can't trust the figure shown by P&L account. Okay. Raising loan becomes easy in case of sole proprietorship. He has limited funds, so if you want to get loans, he has to first get his books of accounts audited. Clear? So next comes is partnership audit. You know what is a partnership firm, right? So even in case of partnership firm, it is not compulsory to get books of accounts audited. But in the interest of the partnership firm, because see, in partnership there are more than one head, so obviously quarrels may be there, misunderstanding will be there. So to keep away these evils, one should get the books of accounts audited. Okay, that is my suggestion. So let us see what are the points in case of partnership audit. It helps valuation of goodwill at the time of admission, retirement, or death. If a new partner is coming in, anyone is retiring, you should value the goodwill so that the people will get their share in goodwill, the hard work they had put in. Clear? Second, sleeping partners can ensure that Their funds are being utilized effectively. Who is a sleeping partner? Do you remember, students? Please put in chat box. Let me see if you remember sleeping partner. Okay, no problem. So I'll tell you. So sleeping partner is a partner who has provided funds but is not active in the business. He might be busy with something else. He is not taking active part in the business. So it's called sleeping partner. So auditing helps him to know that his funds are being invested at proper place and they are being used for the activity for which he had invested. Clear? Third, it helps to prevent disputes among the partners. Very easy point. It facilitates borrowings, as we had seen in sole proprietorship. If you get your books audited, it is very easy to get loans. Not easy, but it will be convenient. Okay. Fifth point, audited accounts are preferred by income tax and sales tax departments. Audited accounts can be helpful in case of litigations, any case laws, not case laws, any cases filed against the partnership firm, against one another in partnership firm. Okay, the audited accounts will help. In case of sale of business, audited accounts uh, facilitates calculation of PC. You know what is purchase consideration? Okay, I think you had one topic in which you have to calculate purchase consideration. That is, if you want to sell your business, you need to value your business. That is called purchase consideration, the amount to be paid by the buyer of the business to the seller of the business. Okay, that's possible only if you have audited books of accounts. Okay, so same points are covered again. Okay, following other circumstances under which audit of partnership account becomes necessary. Okay, so same points you can write. Overlapping points are there. I'll go ahead. Audit of trust. You know what are trusts? Public trust, private trust. Okay, they are formed with some objective of social good. Clear? So even these trusts have to get their books of account audited. Why they have to get their books of account audited? Not compulsory, but in case of some trust, it is compulsory. Okay, so we are studying the non-statutory part. So even trust, for the same reasons as discussed earlier for sole trading and for partnership firm, they have to get their accounts audited for the purpose of income tax. Okay, to keep a check on the accountant. Okay, to avoid errors and frauds. Okay, so same reason. And now distinguish is given. Student, you can take a screenshot of this. Any doubts still here, students? You can use the chat box so that I'll repeat anything if you have doubts. Okay, thank you, students. We'll move ahead. Now, next one is internal audit. Now, as I told you, under authority, we had three types: statutory audit, which is compulsory by law; non-statutory audit, it is voluntarily, like sole trading, concern, partnership firm, they may get their books of accounts audited. Now, this is third type, internal audit. Now, in case of statutory audit, the owners, the owners owners means shareholders, appoint the auditor. And he comes in, he comes to the organization, he checks books of accounts, he conducts audit, he examines all the related documents and gives the report to the shareholders that everything is okay or some problems are there, worse scenario is there. So it will depend on what he finds in the organization. Clear? So in case of big companies, what happens? The directors, they try to cover up everything before the statutory auditor arrives. So what they do, they appoint an internal auditor. They appoint an internal auditor. So who appoints internal auditor? Management. Okay, why? Why appoints? Because they want to make sure that there are no problems with the accounts. There are no problems with the documentation. There are no problem with the supporting like evidence against the transactions. Clear? So they appoint one person who may be or may not be a chartered accountant. It is not compulsory that internal auditor is a chartered accountant. It is not compulsory, but statutory auditor has to be an auditor or a firm of auditor. Chartered accountants can be appointed as a auditor. In case of internal audit, a person within the organization can also be appointed as internal auditor. Clear? So there are no prescribed qualification mentioned for internal auditor. What internal auditor does? He conducts audit as if it is a statutory audit. He points out any mistake, loopholes, shortcomings, errors, frauds, which he finds out to the management. He is appointed by the management, isn't it? Say, for example, I'll give one example. Suppose there is going to be inspection of college, okay, on in the month of March. Suppose there is going to be inspection of college in the month of March. So what college will do? It will form committee of professors. They will tell that you look into all the matters, all the queries, all the complaints, and you try to resolve those so that at the time of inspection, there are no problems, isn't it? Same way is the case with the internal audit. In case of companies, before the statutory auditor arrives, management appoints one person as internal auditors. He may be a CA, may not be a CA, need not be a CA. Okay. No qualification is prescribed. His remuneration is decided by the management. So everything is done by the management. What he'll do, he'll conduct audit as if he's the auditor. He'll find out if any errors are there, any frauds are there, and he'll report to the management. And management will take corrective actions so that at the time of statutory audit, there is no problem. I hope you understood what is internal audit, students. Okay. Now, objectives of internal audit, why it is conducted. Okay. This is done before the final audit, isn't it? So, what are the objectives? First, to verify the accuracy of record, that records are properly maintained. Okay. Second, to ensure that transactions have a proper authority. See, whenever any transaction takes place, it has to be properly authorized, isn't it? Okay. See, say for example, can any outsider get entry into the college? No. Unless he has the I card, he can't get an entry. Vaishnavi, you have any doubt? You can just type in the chat box, no problem. Okay, no problem, no problem. I'm my mistake. You raise your hand, no problem. The objectives first to verify that all records are accurate. Okay, there are no mistakes in the books of account. Second, to ensure that transactions have a proper authority. Suppose in a company, if any purchases are to be made, who will make the purchases? The purchase department. Okay, the head of the purchase department will sign the bills. Okay, it is called as proper authority. Any peon cannot make any purchases. Any clerk cannot make any purchases, isn't it? So against every bill, the internal auditor will check that signs are properly maintained. Just a minute, students. I'll allow you to rename so that some students can rename. I have enabled that option to rename yourself. Okay, thank you. Third, to facilitate prevention and detection of frauds and errors. So internal auditor will take such steps, will conduct such an audit that he finds out if any errors and frauds are there. Okay. Then to ensure that purchase and sale of fixed asset is authorized. Same as point number 2. To improve system of internal check. Students, do you know what is internal check? I think Nitin sir must have taught you, na, internal check or internal audit. No, I won't waste time. I'll directly teach you what is internal check. Okay, I'll give one small example. Suppose you go to a shop. Take for example a sari shop. Okay. No, that is different. Internal check means I'll teach you now. Internal check, I'll give an example so it will be better to understand. Suppose you go to a sari shop. You may be buying a sari for your mother Okay. So you want to buy a sari. So you go to a big shop, sari shop. Okay. So you will observe that they will direct to a salesperson who is at the counter. Okay. The salesperson will show you a lot of saris, 10, 20, unless you zero on to or finalize one sari. Okay. But will that person give you the sari? No, he will not hand over the sari to you, isn't it? He will ask you to go to the billing counter. Okay. And he will internally pass the sari to that billing counter, isn't it? Then the billing will be done. Clear? Okay. Once the bill is made, the person who is billing, he will guide you to the cash counter. Okay. And he will give you three copies of those bills. Okay. So he'll go to cash counter. Okay. So at cash counter, he will collect his copy. Okay. He'll collect his copy and he'll collect the cash and he'll put a stamp. Okay. Now you have two copies of bills with you. Now even he won't give you sari. He will direct you to the delivery person who will be near the gate. Okay. So you go there. Internally, they must have passed on the sari to that delivery person. Delivery person will take one slip from you, okay, and put a stamp that delivered, and he will hand over the sari to you with a good bag and all. Yeah. So you saw that in one transaction, four people are removed. Okay. This is called as internal check. Now, at the end of the day, the manager will ask, okay, all those four people, you give me activity report. The salesman will tell that I have sold 50 saris. Okay. The biller will say, I have billed 50 saris. Okay. The cashier will say, I have collected cash for 48 saris. They don't know what they are reporting. Huh? They are all separate. Okay. Delivery guy will say, I have delivered 50 saris. The cashier will be caught by he is reporting that he has collected cash only for 48 saris, which is a wrong figure, isn't it? Clear? So this way it's a arrangement wherein work done by one person is cross-checked by the another person immediately. Okay, this is called as internal check. Okay. So an arrangement is made such that the work of people working in the organization is cross-checked by work of the other people. Okay. At the end of the day, the manager will come to know that cashier has done some mistake. So this system, overall system is called as internal control. And under internal control, you have this internal check, internal audit. Huh? Two, three things are there. Okay. Now, have you understood what is internal check? A check placed by the organization to keep a check on the internal staff, so that work done by one person is automatically cross-checked by the other person. This is called as internal check. Students, have you understood what is internal check? Please type yes in chat box. Okay. Okay. We'll cover the next para. Okay, we'll stop here. Okay. So that was internal check. So the internal auditor, okay, will make sure that the internal check is in existence and it is working. Okay. Next, the objective of internal audit is to examine the protection given to fixed assets. Yes, even safeguarding your assets is very important. As a management, we have to make sure that the assets, all the properties is safeguarded. Even our management has employed staff at the gate, okay, at every floor, peons are there to make sure that the assets are safeguarded. Yeah? So even internal auditor will investigate this. Next, to make investigation for management. This is also part of internal auditor to review the entire system of working and make it more effective. Okay. So this way, internal auditor is a very important part of the organization. Okay. May not be there for the entire year, but may be appointed just before the final audit takes place. Okay. So I'll just scroll down. You can take a screenshot of this internal audit and statutory audit or external audit. I have done. Let's go up. At the beginning, I had one chart. I'll explain that again. So we have started with types of audit. Under that, there are different types of audits. In that, we have covered first one based on authority. We had statutory audit, non-statutory audit, and internal audit. Okay. So in next lecture, I'll cover the remaining parts. Okay. So thank you, students. I'll take the attendance. CRs, are you taking the attendance? Just type yes. Then I need not take the attendance. Is everyone taking the attendance? Don't leave. I'll just take screenshot of today's lecture. Will be helpful later on. Just give me 2 minutes. Okay, students. I have stored it so that I could record. Thank you, students, for attending the lecture. You were in good numbers. 60 is not a bad number. Okay, thank you so much, students. In next week, I'll tell you once again, I'll be covering most of the syllabus next week. Next week, many faculties are not there. They are going for international conference to Malaysia. Okay, so I'll be taking more lectures in next week. So please keep in touch with the CR. Okay. Okay, I'll be posting links. Mostly next week, I'll be taking YouTube lectures so that if anyone misses out, we can later on check it. Even today's lecture, I'll post on the YouTube and I'll give link to CR. Okay. Thank you, students. Bye. See you. Take care. I'll be available in the college from 1 p.m. onwards. Okay. Thank you. Bye. See you. Take care. Just a minute. I'll take a screenshot of this screen. Okay, done. Thank you. Bye. See you. Take care. You can leave the meeting. Huh? Bye. Bye. कॉलेज जाऊंगा अभी मैं. हम लोग को नैक के लिए रात 7-8 बज जाते हैं ना. कल तो मैं 8:30 बजे कॉलेज से निकला. तो मैडम has asked us to come late so that we can stay till longer. It is very important work. नैक वर्क अपना इंस्पेक्शन होने वाला है कॉलेज का, इसके लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. अगर आपको कुछ कंट्रीब्यूट करना है डू कम, डू हेल्प अस. ओके, बाय. सी यू. टेक केयर. बाय बाय. हैव अ गुड डे.